Hello and welcome back to everyone, and a special welcome to all our new subscribers joining us here on the Detox Health channel.
Yeah, welcome. We're really glad to have you with us.
You know, one of the things we're passionate about here at Detox Health is bringing you clear, digestible information on all sorts of health topics.
hmm
We have many more insightful health deep dives planned, and these are designed to be, well, a really efficient way for you to gain solid knowledge.
Right, without having to spend hours sifting through countless articles and websites.
Exactly. We
Uh-huh.
do the research right here, extracting the most important nuggets for you.
That's right. Think of this as your curated shortcut to understanding what's really important when it comes to your well-being.
So today we're taking a fascinating dive into something many enjoy, dark chocolate.
Ah, yes, dark chocolate. We'll be exploring what the latest research tells us about its impact on our health, both the good and, yes, the potentially less good sides.
Exactly. We're drawing primarily from recent findings, looking closely at pieces like Healthline's 7 Proven Health Benefits of Dark Chocolate, and that insightful article from UC Davis Health, Dark Chocolate Health Benefits, the good and the bad.
Right, the good and the bad piece, good sources.
Our mission today is to really unearth the most significant and perhaps, surprising insights these sources offer about dark chocolate and your health.
So let's get right into it. When we talk about the potential health perks of dark chocolate,
Mm.
the first thing that often comes up is just how much good stuff seems to be packed into it.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about just any chocolate, are
No,
we?
no, definitely not the milk chocolate we might have grown up with, not that stuff.
Right?
The real stars here seem to be the high-quality dark chocolates, the ones with a significant percentage of cocoa solids, say in the 70 to 85% range.
Mm-hmm. That's the key range.
And when you look at what a 100-gram bar of that kind of dark chocolate delivers, it's actually, well, pretty impressive.
It truly is. Healthline highlights that you can find around 11 grams of fiber in there, which, is so important for gut health.
11 grams.
Yeah. Then there's a substantial 66% of your daily iron needs, crucial for energy levels.
Okay.
A whopping 57% for magnesium, vital for so many bodily functions.
Huge amount of magnesium.
And then really high levels of copper and manganese.
Yeah.
And that's just scratching the surface. It also provides potassium, phosphorus, zinc, and selenium.
It almost feels like a multivitamin in a delicious package.
It kind of does. But as with anything that sounds this good, there's a flip side, right?
Oh, is this?
That 100-gram bar also carries a fair number of calories, around 600,
Oof, yeah.
and a moderate amount of sugar. So while it's nutrient-dense, enjoying it in smaller portions is definitely the way to go.
Right. The UC Davis piece also reinforces this, doesn't it? Noting it as a good source of fiber, those vitamins, minerals. But yeah, that reminder about moderation.
Absolutely. Moderation is key. And let's not overlook the fat profile. The fats in cocoa and dark chocolate are actually quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the majority is oleic acid, the same heart-healthy fat we find in olive oil.
Okay, that's good.
There's also stearic acid, which appears to have a neutral effect on cholesterol, and palmitic acid, which can raise cholesterol but is present in a smaller proportion.
Ah, I see.
So the fat composition isn't as, let's say, detrimental as some might assume.
That's good to clarify. It's not just, bad saturated fat in there.
Not at all.
Now, what about the stimulants we sometimes hear about? Does dark chocolate give you a buzz?
Yes, it does contain mild stimulants like caffeine and theobromine.
Mm.
However, the caffeine content is significantly lower than what you'd find in, say, a cup of coffee.
Right, much lower.
So you're unlikely to experience that caffeine rush or,
Mm.
have trouble sleeping after a reasonable serving of dark chocolate. It's more of a gentle lift, if anything.
Okay, so it's a nutrient-packed treat, best enjoyed in moderation. Got it. Now let's talk about one of the biggest health claims surrounding dark chocolate. Its antioxidant power. What makes it such a star in this area?
Okay, yeah, this is where things get really compelling.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate is exceptionally rich in antioxidants.
Really rich.
Yeah, Healthline calls it one of the top sources you can find, loaded with organic compounds that are biologically active and act as antioxidants. These include beneficial compounds like polyphenols, flavanols, and catechins.
Polyphenols, flavanols, catechins, they sound like the body's little defenders. So
Yeah.
what exactly do these antioxidants do for us?
Essentially, they help protect our cells from damage caused by free radicals. These are unstable molecules that can contribute to aging and various diseases.
Okay.
One way to measure the antioxidant strength of foods is the ORAC value.
Yeah.
Now, how well ORA scores in a lab translate directly to benefits in the body is still debated.
Right, there's some discussion there.
It's interesting to note that cocoa and dark chocolate consistently score very high in these tests.
Higher than many other foods known for their antioxidant properties, right? Like blueberries.
Exactly. Healthline even highlights a study showing that cocoa and dark chocolate outperformed fruits like blueberries and acai berries in terms of antioxidant activity, as well as their polyphenol and flavanol content.
Wow, that's quite a statement.
It is. Furthermore, research suggests that these polyphenols, when combined with other healthy foods like almonds, might even help lower some forms of LDL cholesterol.
That's a fascinating synergy. So it's not just about mopping up free radicals. These compounds might have more targeted effects.
Precisely.
Now let's move on to how dark chocolate might affect our circulatory system, about blood flow and blood pressure. How does it work there?
Right, this is where those flavanols we just talked about really shine. According to the research, these flavanols can stimulate the inner lining of our arteries, called the endothelium,
The endothelium.
to
Okay.
produce nitric oxide, or NO.
Nitric oxide, we hear about that in fitness circles too. What's its role here?
Well, in this context, nitric oxide helps to relax and widen our blood vessels.
Oh, okay. Relaxation.
Yeah. When our arteries are more relaxed, blood can flow more easily, which can lead to a reduction in blood pressure.
Hmm.
Numerous controlled studies have indicated that consuming cocoa and dark chocolate can indeed improve blood flow and contribute to a mild but measurable lowering of blood pressure in some individuals.
Mild is the key word there, I imagine. So it's not going to replace prescription medication for hypertension.
No, that's a really important distinction. While the effects are often statistically significant in studies, they are generally mild.
Got it.
Healthline even points out a study where no significant effect was seen in individuals with type 2 diabetes who also had high blood pressure.
Oh, interesting.
It's possible that those already managing their hypertension with medication might not see additional benefits from dietary cocoa flavanols.
Okay.
The research also suggests we need more studies to really understand these effects across different populations and health conditions.
That makes sense. It sounds like it could be a supportive dietary element for some, but definitely not a primary treatment.
Exactly right.
Now, what about cholesterol and insulin sensitivity? These are also critical factors in cardiovascular health.
Right. The research indicates that dark chocolate might favorably influence several heart disease risk factors, including cholesterol levels.
Okay.
A small study mentioned by Healthline found that consuming dark chocolate enriched with the flavanol lycopene led to notable reductions in total cholesterol, LDL bad cholesterol, and triglycerides.
That's encouraging. And how does it specifically help with the bad LDL cholesterol?
Well, certain types of LDL cholesterol are more susceptible to oxidation,
Okay.
which is when they react with those free radicals we discussed earlier.
Mm.
This oxidation makes the LDL particles more likely to contribute to the buildup of plaque in our arteries.
Right, the plaque buildup.
Because dark chocolate is so rich in antioxidants, it can help protect LDL cholesterol from this damaging oxidation process.
So it's like a protective shield for our LDL particles? That's kind of cool.
In a way, yes. And beyond cholesterol, the flavanols in dark chocolate may also play a role in improving insulin sensitivity, which is a key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Oh, I sense a butt coming.
Yes, and this is a crucial point. The sugar content in many dark chocolate products could potentially have the opposite effect on insulin sensitivity if consumed in large amounts.
Okay, so the sugar can counteract the flavanol benefit there.
Potentially, yes. So the type and quantity of dark chocolate we choose really matters.
Absolutely. It seems the higher the cocoa percentage and the lower the added sugar, the more likely we are to see these potential benefits.
That's the general idea.
Now let's connect the dots. How do these potential improvements in blood pressure, cholesterol, and insulin sensitivity translate to an overall reduction in the risk of heart disease?
Well, if dark chocolate can indeed help lower blood pressure and protect LDL from oxidation, then over time, this could mean less damage to the arteries and a lower likelihood of plaque formation, which are key factors in heart disease. Several studies and reviews have investigated this potential link.
And what do they suggest? Is there a clear connection?
It's suggestive. One review cited by Healthline found that eating chocolate 3 times a week was associated with a 9% lower risk of cardiovascular disease.
9%. Okay.
Interestingly, eating it more frequently didn't seem to provide any additional benefit in that review.
More isn't always better.
Seems like it. Another review suggested that around 45 grams of chocolate per week might lower the risk by 11%, again with no added advantage from consuming more.
45 grams, that's like what, a couple squares a few times a week?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
And the 2017 study also reported improvements in LDL cholesterol levels in individuals who ate almonds with or without the addition of dark chocolate.
So it's not about indulging in large quantities, but rather incorporating a moderate amount into our diet regularly that might be beneficial.
Precisely. While the findings are promising, researchers are quick to emphasize that more robust evidence is still needed to definitively say that chocolate consumption directly causes a reduction in heart disease risk.
Okay, correlation, not necessarily causation yet.
Exactly. But considering the biological mechanisms we've discussed, the potential for lower blood pressure, reduced LDL oxidation, it's certainly plausible that regular, moderate consumption of dark chocolate could contribute to better cardiovascular health.
Okay, so heart health seems to be a major area where dark chocolate might offer some advantages. But Healthline also mentions potential benefits for our skin. That's an intriguing idea.
It is, isn't it? The bioactive compounds found in dark chocolate, particularly those flavanols we keep coming back to,
Yep, the flavanols again.
might have some positive effects on our skin health. They're thought to potentially offer some protection against sun damage, improve blood flow to the skin, and even contribute to increased skin density and hydration.
Wow. So could it act like a natural internal sunscreen to some extent?
Well, sunscreen might be pushing it a bit. Not exactly a replacement.
Okay, not a replacement.
But some studies have shown that consuming dark chocolate or cocoa, rich in flavanols over several weeks, can lead to an increase in the minimal erythemal dose, or MED.
MED, what's that?
That's the threshold of UVB radiation that causes redness after sun exposure. So a higher MED suggests the skin has a bit more resistance to sun-induced damage.
That's quite interesting. So enjoying some high-quality dark chocolate might offer a little extra shield when we're outdoors.
That's what the research suggests, yes. But it's absolutely crucial to remember that dark chocolate cannot and should not replace traditional sun protection measures.
Right. Sunscreen, hats, seeking shade.
All of that. It should be viewed as a potential additional benefit, and it's always wise to consult with a dermatologist for personalized sun care advice.
Definitely an important caveat there.
Okay, now let's shift our focus to another fascinating area, our brain function. Can dark chocolate actually give our cognitive abilities a boost?
Well, it's unlikely to turn anyone into a genius overnight. Ah, shame.
But there is some compelling research suggesting that dark chocolate might have a positive impact on brain function. Studies have indicated that consuming cocoa with high flavanol content can improve blood flow to the brain in young adults.
Better blood flow to the brain, okay?
And this improved circulation may be a reason why daily cocoa intake has been linked to enhancements in areas like attention, verbal learning, and memory.
So it could potentially sharpen our mental edge a bit, maybe help with focus?
That's the implication of the findings, yes. And the potential benefits might extend to older adults as well.
Oh, really?
Some research suggests that the flavanols in cocoa could help maintain cognitive function in older individuals experiencing mild cognitive impairment and possibly even reduce the risk of developing dementia.
Wow.
Although more research is certainly needed in this important area, it's still early days for those kinds of claims.
That's really promising, though. And what about those mild stimulant properties we discussed earlier, like caffeine and theobromine? Do they play a role in these brain-boosting effects?
Yes, they likely contribute to the short-term improvements in brain function that some people experience after consuming dark chocolate, such as increased alertness and focus.
Ah, okay.
So that little mental pick-me-up you might feel could be partly due to these compounds alongside the flavanol effects.
Okay, so we've explored a lot of potential upsides. Really interesting stuff. But as the UC Davis Health article rightly points out, there can also be a dark side to the dark chocolate story. Let's address the issue of heavy metals.
Yes, this is a really critical aspect to be aware of. The UC Davis Health article references the Consumer Reports investigation from December 2022
Right, I remember reading about that.
that detected measurable levels of heavy metals, specifically cadmium and lead, in a number of popular dark chocolate brands.
Heavy metals in something we eat. That doesn't sound good at all. Cadmium and lead.
No, it certainly doesn't.
We're all...
While our bodies do require trace amounts of some metals like iron and zinc,
Yeah, the essential ones.
heavy metals like cadmium and lead can be harmful, even in relatively small amounts, especially over prolonged periods. They can interfere with various metabolic processes and the proper functioning of our organs.
Yikes.
And the Consumer Reports study found that some of the tested chocolate bars contained levels of cadmium and lead that were considered potentially concerning with regular consumption.
That's definitely something people should be aware of if they eat dark chocolate often. So what's the takeaway here? Should we stop eating it?
Well, the advice from both UC Davis Health and Consumer Reports is more about being informed.
Sure.
Consumer Reports actually published a list of chocolates that had lower levels of these heavy metals,
Okay, that's useful.
and that's a valuable resource to check. It's also, encouraging to know that many chocolate manufacturers are actively working to reduce the heavy metal content in their products now that this is more widely known.
So being a mindful consumer and making informed choices is key, checking those lists.
Exactly.
And I imagine moderation plays a significant role here as well, just eating less overall.
Absolutely. As Haley Dockery, the registered dietitian at UC Davis Health, advises, enjoying treats like dark chocolate in moderation is generally a wise approach anyway.
Right.
When it comes to potential exposure to heavy metals, keeping your consumption within reasonable limits can certainly help minimize any potential risks. Less exposure over time.
Okay. So to bring it all together then.
Yeah.
What's the overall picture when it comes to enjoying dark chocolate for its potential health benefits, while also being mindful of the potential downsides, like the calories, sugar, and these heavy metals?
It really boils down to a combination of moderation and informed choices about quality.
Moderation and quality.
Yes. Despite the numerous potential benefits we've discussed, dark chocolate is still energy-dense, it's calorie-dense, and it's pretty easy to overeat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So enjoying a small portion, perhaps a square or two, on a regular basis is likely the most beneficial approach, not the whole bar in one sitting.
Right, not the whole bar. And what should we look for when we're choosing dark chocolate at the store?
Definitely aim for quality dark chocolate with a high cocoa content, ideally 70% or higher.
70% more.
And check the label for lower amounts of added sugar. Generally, the darker the chocolate, the higher the cocoa, the lower the sugar content tends to be.
Makes sense.
And for those really focused on maximizing cocoa's benefits without the extra calories and sugar of chocolate bars, unsweetened cocoa powder used in hot beverages is also a great option.
That's a fantastic tip. Get the flavanols without the fat and sugar.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So, to summarize our deep dive into dark chocolate, it undeniably offers a range of potential health benefits thanks to its rich profile of nutrients and antioxidants. We've seen evidence suggesting positive impacts on heart health, blood pressure, maybe some protection for our skin, and even potential benefits for brain function.
Right, quite a list.
However, it's vital to remember that moderation is crucial due to its calorie and sugar content. And we also need to be aware of the potential presence of heavy metals in some products and choose wisely.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot of informed enjoyment, you could say.
Well, this has been a truly enlightening deep dive into the fascinating world of dark chocolate. It's clear it's more than just a delicious treat.
Absolutely.
When enjoyed thoughtfully and in the right way, it could offer some genuine health advantages.
It certainly gives us a lot to consider the next time we reach for a piece, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And maybe makes us feel slightly less guilty. So here's a final thought to leave with our listeners. Considering both the potential benefits and these risks we've discussed, how might mindful consumption of high-quality dark chocolate fit into your overall wellness journey? Something to think about.
Good question.
And on that note, we want to thank you for joining us for this deep dive into dark chocolate. If you found this information valuable, please do subscribe to the Detox Health channel for more in-depth explorations of various health topics.
Yeah, we have many more health-focused deep dives planned, all designed to bring you the knowledge you need without the endless scrolling and searching.
That's right. Until our next deep dive together, take good care.
Stay healthy, everyone.